Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You and Quiet Badger are now both owners of the GJC Hio emote, which you cannot use to join any of the races, not on this channel or any other channel on Twitch. Play Marbles on stream. Oh my god! Oh my god! Hi Shinsen, hi everyone. Today for the Marbles update, we are going to do a track build with just basic track pieces. I actually have already assembled all the basic track pieces here. Yeah, these are all the basic track pieces. I saw you asking in Discord about the obstacles. Are you aware that free piece track pieces get less total pieces than obstacles? Yeah. These are the total. I just didn't know which. Tier had actually helped me take screenshots of all the what's it called? Of the pieces. I just forgot to take a screenshot of the obstacles. Yeah, when you don't buy the track builder, those are the guys who didn't check my last video, you could buy the track builder from the shop. And from the shop, it'll unlock all the possible pieces. But when you don't have a shop builder or track builder, all you get is the pieces that you see right now, which is the funnel start piece, the regular square bucket, the single track lane, and then this, whatever this thing is called, the weird eyeball shaped track, some turns, the 2 turns, and not even a full down slope, but like a slight down slope. This is not even the sharp one. And then you have a finish like ramp here, kind of, and same thing with here. This is like a smaller version of that. Oh, and also you have the cap end piece. Do you know the current count of obstacles / place limits? I don't know if it's changed since last I checked. Yeah, I have a picture of it. It says obstacles 50, track 200. So we'll have to try to keep the track pieces under 200, which shouldn't be too hard. I just want to build something. I just want to show people a few different techniques and ways to use the track builder other than just like regular tracks. Like that's what this episode is about. It's not that we're just building a regular, anyone can click pieces together. That I already taught you guys how to do. We'll go over that again, but just easy, like we'll do a fresh tutorial and show you all the basic layouts again. But the idea is that you are able to look at these track pieces and use them in ways that it was not originally intended. That's like a real track builder, you know? Like they talk about like you ever watch like Lego Movie? They talk about like a true master, like a true builder or whatever, a master builder. Like that's the thing, is like when they become like master builders, they just like see the pieces and it like comes together, right? There's no like blueprints or stuff like that. Well, that's like what I want to encourage builders to do, is like to look at a piece and like just see how it could come together with other pieces, and then maybe even use them in the ways that it wasn't originally intended to use. Like that's what's fun about track building, right? And what I'm trying to say is with even these pieces, you could do some pretty cool things. Yeah, I'm gonna just show you guys like 2 of the favorite techniques, because the thing is, it seems like it can be very labor intensive sometimes when you first look at some maps that are made with basic track pieces. But truth is like if you know the shortcuts, you know your short keys, you know how to do things. I showed you like last time, and I'll show you again. Building tracks could be done pretty quickly and not as much labor intensive as you think. All right. And actually Shensen's guide on Steam is one of the few things that I first used for references to learn my shortcuts. So I highly recommend you guys check out the guides that are on Steam to teach you how to track build as well. This is the thing, we all learn in different ways. There's those of us who are visual learners. Whoa, Butt Stallion with the 7-month stub. What is going on today? Thank you. You and Quiet Badger are now both owners of the GJC Hio emote, which you cannot use to join any of the races, not on this channel or any other channel on Twitch. Play Marbles on stream. But thank you so much. Enjoy those emotes. Yeah, I really think that everyone is like, they learn differently. There's people who can read something, instructions, and then they know what they're doing. There's people who need to do it themselves, and then there's also people who need to watch something happen and instructions through watching. So it's important then that as we try to teach people this game that we hit all three of those categories, right? We give them opportunities to actually try to build a track. We let them see it visually done. And then we also have stuff that's written down that we could go back to and reference again if we're those type of people who are readers, right? Like I said, these are the basic track pieces. We'll start off on the very top as far as how to use controls and stuff like that, right? Very, very top left, you'll see file. This is where you open, save. There's game settings in there. You don't really need to mess around with this stuff. Just know that this is how you save your game file, right? And your maps. Save often. People are almost always surprised by the amount of hardware requirements that Marbles has. It seems like it's a very basic game in many ways, right? And that's what's deceptive about it, is you don't think of it as like a graphics intensive, labor intensive, hardware intensive game for your CPU. But actually, Yusuf mentioned this earlier last week. It's a pretty good benchmark to see if your game can handle, your computer can handle any other games that are like first person shooters or whatever that you may be thinking of you wanting to stream. Not just first person, but any of those other games. So using Marbles is a pretty good benchmark to see if you're capable of streaming other games. Now, what happens is a lot of people don't realize that it's intensive with your computer and it uses a lot of hardware. So they don't expect it to ever crash. But I actually probably have crashed just as many times building as I have while streaming, almost. It's not that I crash all the time, because I rarely do, but I've crashed like a lot of times just building because I have my graphics set all the way up to like epic level, you know, and I'm building things that are like moving around pieces, and there's a lot of them in a row or whatever, and actually that has ability to slow down your marble to the point where it crashes. Also, I was silly enough to try to run a simulation at like 1,000 marbles once on a track that I built that had like all these boulders and cannons shooting off and stuff like that, and that clapped my PC too. Like that clapped not just the game, the whole PC froze. So save often. That's my little pro tip. First pro tip: save often. All right, don't be like me. Don't be a dum-dum. They'll chug your PC. Mine can barely handle 1,000K. Yeah, you don't realize that. Because you imagine every single one of the marbles is like a calculation is being done for it at the same time, running at real time, right? That's one thing, that one extra variable it's got to account for every single time. So imagine 1,000 of those calculations having to be run all the time on your PC for a whole race, while other ones are also running. It's like crazy. So that's the save. And then we have movement speed. That's how fast you move in the map. You could adjust that manually along, like you see when you click on it and you click and drag it. You can adjust it manually, or you could just hold shift and scroll your mouse just like you do in the regular game. All right. Grid snapping. Grid snapping lets you move items in increments of 5, 10, or 45. This also works for turns. So let's say we kick it to 5. Right, and then I want to grab, say I want to grab this piece right here. This eyeball thing. Every time I move it forward, it'll move in increments of 5. So this keeps everything, if you're like someone who really enjoys building symmetrical, even line things, which I think a lot of us do, because we're all OCD like that. And the game just tends to give that feeling of like wanting to make things somewhat symmetrical, which I like. It's just, that's the style, I think, that a lot of people adhere to. But yeah, it has many uses aside from just symmetry. But that's one of the easy tools to do, is if you want things to be symmetrical, right? So it'll always move in the direction you want. Moving an item is easy. Let's say you want to grab an item. You just click and drag it off of the tracks. You'll see tracks, obstacles, material, skybox. Go to that tracks over there on the top right. Click on an item or track piece you want to use, and just click and drag it out onto the open world, and it'll spawn. See, when you click on it right away, it'll have arrow keys that let you move it up, down, left to right, forward, backwards, X, Y, and Z So know your X, Y's, and Z's. Sorry, there's a little bit of math involved when you want to track build. Pieces are pretty intuitive. As you can see, it almost spawns the arrow movement thing at the like an end part of the piece, and you'll see there's like a little ball right where all the axes meet. All you have to do is click on the ball and drag it to the end of another piece, and it'll snap on. So it's very easy to connect pieces just by click dragging it from the menu, snapping it onto another piece. All right. Same thing, you have something that's already spawned, you could do that too. You could also drag it from, there's another ball at the end of every other piece as well, usually. So you could also drag it from that piece and attach it. Side note, very important to remember, almost every single piece in this game spawns at an angle. It's difficult to see for some pieces, especially if it's like a curved piece. But everything already is spawned at a 5-degree angle. So keep that in mind. If you want to make something that's... This is so that marbles don't get stuck. This is so that it'll always roll, right? You can see on the very top, there's a button that I just clicked, drop marble, very top center. That lets you spawn marbles. You could test out tracks that way, but you can see it's already slanted. It's noticeable, and it'll always... That way, your marbles will always move. It'll do that automatically for most pieces. There are a few pieces that we talked about, but they're not in the basic track builder. I believe every single piece in the basic track builder is at a slant. You know, oh, drop marbles is 3. Yeah, you could also use 3. That works too. So you switch it to drop marble by pressing 3. Ah, I see. And then you click the mouse to spawn. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a hotkey to switch back and forth between spawning marbles and not spawning marbles. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, all these pieces will the basic ones will almost all spawn. I think the only one that doesn't spawn in an angle, I believe, is this finish line. This finish bucket. This is the only one that's flat. All right, like I don't think the marbles will actually roll. Yeah, see how it doesn't roll when you spawn marbles on it? This is flat. So keep that in mind. This is good because you'll need to remember your orientation of X, Y, and Z. Always keep that in mind of what direction your track is flowing. That way you don't have marbles that get stuck. But if there are times where you want to build flat, right? And you want to build flat, and then maybe at the end you decide to angle it. So just remember, when you spawn most regular pieces, they're already at a 5-degree angle. You could turn on, to help you, you could turn on the snap gridding, like we just said, to 5 degrees. Then you could adjust it using the angle option over there. It's this one between the globe looking thing and the X. The X deletes it. The globe looking thing is for adjusting your essentially your moving settings. I'll show you guys that in a second. But yeah, you could tilt it using grid snapping. It'll tilt it 5 degrees perfectly for you. Now it's flat. Now it won't roll anything. See? Yeah, those are just some basic things that you got to keep in mind when you're using this track builder. Oh, globe is, the other two hotkeys, globe and rotation, are 1 and 2. Oh, okay. So that way when you're like click an object, you don't have to keep pressing all the boxes. You could switch between your controls of moving the... Yeah. So like the way that, here, since we're talking about the globe looking thing, that determines how you move your object. So right now we have this object, and whenever we move it, you can see on the center over there, it's like there's a globe symbol. That globe symbol determines how the object is going to be moved. Is it going to be moved in relations to the world that you're in, this map that we're in, or is it going to be moved when we click the other one? This is the object view. This means that it'll be moved in relation to where the object is currently. This is useful for when you have things at a slant. So what happens very often, right? Here, I'll just show you. This is so much easier to demonstrate. What will happen very often is we'll put like for our purposes, we'll put a cube, right? And you'll get the cube perfectly lined up. You know, like you're like, oh yeah, I got it like lined up real nicely with like flush against the track, so it's not even floating, right? And you're like, yeah, okay, I got it. And then you have a track that goes on, you know, and it keeps going on. And you're like, oh, I want to put the same cube a little bit further down here, right? And you're like, oh, okay, so GJC showed me this cool trick to copy things. All I gotta do is click on an object, hold the left Alt key, like so, and then drag it along one of its axes. And look, I got a second cube. Yeah, I got a hot move that I can do. What happens is because this track piece will be inevitably at an angle, right? We'll move it back to its original default setting, because it's rolling down, right? This cube won't stay flush against the track. It's already kind of floating. It won't stay flush against the track forever. Eventually, it'll start floating above it. As you drag it along, right? See how it's like now not flush against this track, and you're like, what in the world? You're like, oh no. Oh no, what do I do? This drove me insane for the longest time until Shenson explained what this global thing was to me. Like, before I understood that, I was like, oh no, like I didn't like I would make a track, and I literally take the time to go to every cube and like readjust it back down. I thought I was like I was so silly. It was so stupid. I wasted so much time doing that. So to solve that problem, right, you click it, you click the globe thing, and you turn it to the relative direction of how this thing is. You change it from global to the object settings. And now when you copy it, it'll move along the track. It'll stay the same orientation. It'll keep that slant that you want. And it'll stay flush against the track. You see the difference, guys? So that's just like a real quick pro tip, because you are gonna waste a lot of time trying to like get pieces to line up or objects to line up perfectly on your track, and then you're like, oh, why didn't it work when I dragged a copy of it down the line? Well, that's because your track is at an angle. Like, so you have to remember that you want your object to move along at that angle. You have to turn your settings and change it from global settings to object settings. Orientation of your movement. Oh, this is also a visual thing that I never noticed before, is that when you switch it before, you can tell which orientation you are, is the arrow keys will change a little. They like do a little shuffle to the other side. Good to remember. Yeah, man, I spent so much time did not understand that concept, and that could have saved you, and it'll save me a lot of time. So it'll save you a lot of time if you understand that concept. All right. Cubes are normally not in the basic track builder, though. There are other objects, though, you can use that are obstacles, but cubes is the easiest way to demonstrate. It's probably the most common one. Yeah, it's the same story for pins, which is in the basic track builder. Same thing with well, boosts don't quite work that way, but boosts have a weird angle of their own. So if you don't use the orientation setting, it'll like mess up the boost too. So it's yeah, because boosts are almost always they have to be flush on the track. But if you it'll still angle it differently if you don't use the relative settings. Yeah, what happens is if you don't use the boost for relative settings, it like phases and flushes into it clips into the track, and you end up with a smaller amount of boost area than you initially had. Yeah, especially when you rotate them. Yeah, especially if you're going to rotate them. Oh, okay, so let's go back to all the way to the left side. After the grid snapping, you have edit history. Edit history is great. It shows you all the different things that you did, and every single thing that you did, and it's like a log of all the different things that you did for your track building. You can undo, redo. You can undo, redo, redo. It's very useful. Be careful when doing that, though. There is an issue where sometimes, let's say you're copying an object, right? You decide to copy an object. There's an issue with that because sometimes when you're copying an object and you hit an undo, it won't delete the object that you copy. I don't know if that makes any sense. So if you use the technique that I talk about, which is like the hold left alt and then drag it along the axis, sometimes what will happen is if you hit like an undo, like the second object will still be there. You see that? So, and it's unnoticeable because it's almost exactly flush with this track previously. So it's exactly on it. It's like it'll create a duplicate and it won't delete it for you. So be careful when undoing when you choose to undo an action which is copying. Like when you try to undo a copy, the object that you spawn will still be there. You got to check to make sure you don't have a duplicate object, all right? It'll bring the thing back to where it was, where it spawned, the duplicate object, the cloned object to where it spawned, and it'll create a second one and it won't delete it for you, actually. So always check to make sure it was deleted if you're undoing a duplicate action. It'll save you a lot, because especially if you only have a basic track pieces, like we talked about, you have a limited number of track pieces that you can use. If you didn't buy the kit, you only have 200 track pieces to use. So every single track piece is incredibly valuable to you. So you're not going to want to waste any. So make sure you're not duplicating objects and forgetting to delete them if you undo or whatever. Object list is also incredibly useful. Object list is the next thing on the left over here. You'll see this thing shows you every single thing that is in your world. This world is huge. You can't see the boundaries of it, but it's incredibly huge. It is very easy for you to lose an object in this world. I'm going to zoom at full speed away from where we started. And you could already see that we're losing sight of like the smaller track pieces. But yeah, you could see it's already very far away. And like in this skybox, that's barely noticeable. If you didn't know to look in that direction, you wouldn't know there's a track there. So it's like easy for you to lose track of where all your pieces are in this map. It's huge. All right. And you're limited to a certain amount of colors only. So it's not like you're going to always pick a color that sticks out. Especially if you pick this blue color, all these pieces fade away like in the background easily. So this thing will show you every single piece that is on your track. Or not every single track piece that's on your map. So you could, and it'll like point a little arrow to it. So if in case you lose something, you can always find it. Obstacles as well. It'll show all your obstacles. Let's say we use the pin, you know. Pin, that's a real free piece. Pin. Obstacles are the same. Obstacles have to be locked to a track piece. So when you drag an obstacle onto the map, it has to be locked into a track piece. If you delete that track piece, both obstacles, all the obstacles attached to it will delete. You'll see when you click on the track piece, like all the obstacles that are attached to it. Boost or pin. I'll highlight which one's which. So if I want to take control of the boost again, I click on that and it will let me adjust my boost settings. A lot of pieces will have properties. Obstacles usually have some kind of property. This obstacle lets me boost marbles that go through. I can adjust how fast they are or how fast the boost is. All right. Say I want to make it a little faster. Whoa, whoa, whoa. whoa, whoa, whoa. Same thing with the pin. Has properties that you could adjust to. Different variations of shapes, styles, speed, movement, wind, speed, disabling movements. This is all something everyone should play around with as far as variations. But yeah, object list, very important. World settings. This I don't mess around too much with. I think everyone should should try it out though and understand it. Essentially, it's functions with how bright, the direction of the sun, things of that sort. But you could already see. Well, it's harder to see on this track, but you could already see like adjusting your skylight, directional stuff, how it adjusts the color because of the amount of lighting. I pretty much leave it to default, but it's something that everyone can try out with. You do have a selection of colors, right? I think your colors that you have, let me see if I have. I think the colors that you can pick from basic track. So up here, you could see we have track pieces, right? Obstacles, materials. Materials lets you pick which colors that are skins that you want for your different parts, your base part, your obstacles, and your glass, right? I think the basic ones are these first 6, and then this DMP3 one. This DMP3 one, and then you could pick any of these colors too. So I guess if you like mess with the skylight, you can make this like a really bright, or you can make it really dark. I honestly prefer to build it in the blue setting because I think it's just easier to look at the pieces that way, and they're more noticeable. Yeah, the DMP3 one is free. Yeah, the DMP3 one is free. Right, it's great for making shadows. Yeah. Shadow art on track building though, I feel like Shenson is like, it's a technique and it's a thing that very few people mess around with because I just don't think they understand it very well. Makes sense why CC. Yeah, it's the coolest looking track and it's for like skin and it's free. So a lot of free track pieces. Yeah, but it's like a subtle thing. The shadow is a very subtle part of the game that a lot of people don't mess around with, and because they're just not sure how to use it properly, right? I don't really mess around with it, but like it's very important if you're going to be using like blacklight tracks, or if you want a certain shade of color track that is not like already in there, right? You want something to look darker than it is or brighter than it is. So because all these colors are all kind of basic colors, but with shading and with light direction and things like that, you can make it a little bit closer to a different color that you might be looking for. Yeah, that's one of the few things you can do with it. But definitely for those blacklight tracks, you'll need to know. So yeah, those are your world settings. That's most of the basic stuff. I think I could show you also top right, very top right, Skybox. This lets you choose the background that you have. I believe on basic you only have this one. You don't have any free ones other than this basic looking standard default Skybox. Some of them are pretty cool though. Like definitely cool to unlock a lot of these different backgrounds that you can use. This one's got a Santa on a sled. You know, there's the space one, it's pretty popular, but on the basic you only get this one. I think we'll go over some things that you always do when you start off. It's very important to make sure that when you start off building, you try to keep that first piece in the exact center of the map. That way you understand how much room that you have forwards and backwards. You know what the Skybox is? The default? Yeah, it's from the other game that the studio was developing. Insurgents, right? Am I right? Yeah, I knew it. -20 equals death wall, I think. Okay. So now you know that you always start you go to your, when you click an object, you can see the positions where it is, the global positioning. It'll pop up. It's just like a good idea to zero this out. on your first piece. It doesn't have to be the smart piece, but most people start off with the start piece. So you just make sure you put 0, 0, 0 in the X, Y, and Z box, because that way in the future, when you try, which most of us will be doing, when we try to make a track, we try to make it symmetrical. And that way, you know, like left to right wise, like how far it is from the center. The center is like a good start point, right? It's just a very good reference point to always have start off your track in the middle. It leads to less confusion later on, because what happens, one of the biggest rookie mistakes I see people make is they forget their orientation of X, Y, and Z and what's forward and backwards, because they end up rotating pieces and doing things and they lose track of it all. This helps you not do that. And as well as what happens a lot is people will have their tracks accidentally rotated the wrong direction. And then when they finish a race and spawn the death wall is on the wrong side of the map. And it ends up clapping anyone else who comes after the first person who finishes it. And that's because your map is rotated the wrong direction. So starting off at this 0 point is like one of the few tips that prevents you from making that mistake. 0, 0, 0. In general, I do enjoy using at least a 5 snap, just because it's just easier. There are some great track builders who don't use snap track building, though. They don't like grid snap when they track build. Yeah, mixed centering objects are really easy. Exactly. If you want to center objects in your track, it's just easier to keep track of if you begin building on the 0 point, the original point. Like I said, most of the time when you're building a track, it's pretty easy just to drag it from the menu of track pieces and snap it on. But there's also some quick things that you could do. Like I said, you've already seen me duplicate objects one time by holding the left Alt key and dragging along one of the axes. You could, if you want a continuation of the same piece, also you can use the quick button over there on the far left, the duplicate button. It'll clone a piece and attach it onto your previous piece, and you can just keep doing that as well. Again, let's say you want to put in a turn. Let's put that turn in there. I want to do another turn, but I wanted to kind of go the other way, right? I hit a duplicate piece. Oh, but wait a minute. It's no, that's not the direction I want to do. You know, I could fumble around and try to drag a second piece onto it. Sure. It seems like it's a lot of work, right? So instead of doing that, I could always just flip the turn. You'll see there's a little button for objects that can be flipped in direction. You'll see right above the X, there's like this little button that you could click that will mirror the turn for you. So you don't have to keep dragging new objects onto them and spawning new objects onto the map. Saves you just little tips that'll save you that time. Objects, you could grab more than one object at a time. One of the faster ways to do it is just to hold shift and drag like a box out, like you do for Windows, kind of. And it'll select several objects together at once. You could highlight a bunch of objects together at the same time. You could also hold shift and click one individually, objects individually. That way, if for some reason you want to move some that are not attached, or you don't want to move certain parts of an object that's attached, you can do that. Pretty neat trick. Let's say I've already done this already, and it's like, oh no, I forgot, I missed those grabbing objects. Well, you could always undo in the world object, in the world edit history, right? But you could actually just click and drag one of the points of your track pieces, and it'll snap it back on too. There's like a lot of intuitive things that I find interesting and I find useful, but to new people, they just seem like it's kind of like a whatever. That's the way it should have been. But like, I remember when we didn't have those things, and I feel like now having them, like, they make my life so much easier. So if I show you something that seems like I'm like really like might be boring or basic, it's because like a lot of stuff didn't exist before, and now it does. It's useful tools that I think everyone should learn how to use. But yeah, for the most part, people are going to build very basic looking track pieces with just these pieces, right? Like, one of the fun things that people like to do, though, because they can mess around with angles, is they'll build something like, I love doing it because it's like the slope. It reminds me of the old school slope levels. All right, so they'll build something that kind of looks like this. And then they'll adjust this to go the other way. Move this down a little. And maybe put like a cap at the end of it. We used to do this for like grind tracks a lot. Yeah, we used to do this for grind tracks a lot, where we do like, oops. Do something like this. Let's turn this around. This is at a good angle. Should that's at a good angle. This is like a very old technique to make like. So this is to like. So it's not just a straightforward track, but you have like something a little different. All right. Like, understanding how to break up pieces, and the fact that you don't need to build a track that's just like literally connecting one piece after another. You could add in cool things just by rotating pieces around, right? And if this, let's say, if this was like at a faster, you had some boost or something like that, you might even have a possibility of one of these pieces when it goes through this to like make a skip, right? And this is like basic techniques that you see from the original like track that were made by the studio. All right, so like this, being able to understand how to use the track builder in a non-linear method is like the first thing that you need to go from just a beginner track builder to an intermediate, right? So like when you're just a basic track builder, you're literally just clicking and dragging pieces together. But understand that your track doesn't need to be in a linear way like this. You could add an effect like this, and this adds a little bit of extra layer to your track than just, oh, I'm snapping something along the line. It moves along, right? But yeah, a lot of times people are just going to be, oh yeah, I'm going to click and snap, click and snap. And that's fine, right? But that's like that's like where you start off basically. But you need to learn to like think about how to use these pieces in other ways, right? So what is one of my favorite ways? And I'm like, where's the pizza? Oh, Pewter Scams, thank you so much for the host. So like, how do you, I'll show you two of my favorite things that I've seen people do as far as using basic track pieces. Probably the first person that I saw this technique used and done very well was Sonic. Sonic has one of my favorite track build, like basic track builds that I've seen. He has a very famous minecart track. I'm gonna show you guys how he did it with basic track pieces. All right, or like just the idea of it. It's not gonna be exactly the same, but it'll be very similar. So one of the cool things that you could do is you can like flip objects around and rotate them, right? They don't have to always be at this orientation, right? You're like, you know, you stuck in this mindset of like, oh yeah, it's got to look like this always, because this is how the tracks and the marbles it was intended to use, right? What's wonderful is like this thing's so dynamic. You can move it around, you could rotate it, you could do whatever you want with it. As far as like how the interaction of the marble comes along, like that's totally up to you, right? So Sonic was the first one to kind of come up with this idea that I saw, and he did like a minecart type of theme track. So I'll show you guys sort of what it looks like. I think it was at least that long. Maybe 3 pieces long. It's 3 pieces long. Yeah, this looks about the right length. So he took this, flipped it upside down, made sure it was flat first, right? Rotated it. So that was flipped upside down. Still at an angle, hold on. Wait, is this still at an angle? No, I think that's flat. Okay, so he flipped it. And then he rotated it again to 90 degrees. And he made this surface, this back surface, using this as his track. And he created like a step effect with it on railroads. So I can show you guys what that looks like. So he highlighted one part of it and kept copying it over and over again, but lowering it step by step. So I have all 3 pieces highlighted. I held the left Alt key. I drag it along the axis. And I duplicate a piece, right? So he would do this, and then he'd like lower it a little. And he kept doing this, but as he did this technique, he would keep turning. He would actually allow the track to move along and turn in directions as well. So he put like railing on the side. Here, we'll just do a few really quickly, right? This was actually a really smart idea. You can see how he's like ended up using the stairway. Oh, he tilted it a little too. He must have. There we go. So now you have like a slight tilt on this. So look, this like, he ended up making steps kind of. Right? Using the track piece the way it was not intended. Yeah. This was like a really smart technique. So he built a whole entire track just doing this. And it would actually turn left and right because he put railing on the side. All right? So this is like one way for you to use the track builder in a way that it wasn't intended. Like he literally flipped the track around, rotated it, and made the underside of the track the actual part where the marble interacts and races through. This is a really smart idea. But yeah, instead of using it as a normal, the way it was intended, he used it on the underside of the track piece actually, which is a smart idea. You know, and then he ended up putting like railing on the side. So he would take like another one of these pieces. But let's actually finish flushing this out. I'm gonna do like another one. Just give you a full stair piece. Oh, I know why. It's because of the grid snapping. It's like, wait a minute. Why can't I get it to, like... Oh. I see. Okay. Hey, GGC. Quick visit from work. Hope you're having a great night. Thank you so much, Amagosa. So, you have stairs. I'll show you the next cool thing that I really enjoy watching people do as far as tracks go. Basic track pieces. Is you don't realize a lot of your pieces are actually more than the track itself. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about almost every track piece that is in the game has a glass setting, a cap setting, right? It actually has, you can put glass on top of it. This is useful for keeping pieces from getting yeeted off, right? To have some glass in there to protect you from dropping. What's good is like your marbles will actually stand on top of it when dropped. They'll drop on over the glass. So instead of letting the marble travel under the glass, you could actually get the marble to travel above the glass too and use that. I like to call that as like the river technique. So I'll show you guys kind of like what I mean. It's like a flowing river technique. It's one of my favorite. Raz did some really good ones last season. He has some really good maps. Razgriz Type 0 has a lot of maps that are free track piece maps that are very beautifully done. I'm doing this like really fast. I could be way more precise about it too. And this is where grid snapping comes in useful too. I make a bunch of duplicates. And I end up essentially with this like flowing river feel to it. Create a duplicate of it. Snap that back on. So when the marbles drop, yeah, rolling roads. Yeah, so see how it's traveling on top of the glass actually? And it gives this like flowing river effect. If you want to be like more careful about it, you could actually even... Yeah, and Shensen's done this too. A lot of like, when we first started, this was like, you have to understand, when we first started, we did not have like all these bells and whistles with ramps and like funnels and all, like a lot of the stuff that we have when we first got it, like this is what the OG tracks looked like. Like the basic, like we found ways to turn the track builder around on its head because we actually didn't have a lot of this stuff. Yeah. The narrows were hand built. What? You hand built? Oh man. So you could always, let's say you don't want this thing to be as dangerous. You could lift the side pieces up a little to give it like a borders or edges. Right, this will prevent marbles from falling down. Let's move that up a little. There you go. So now you have like a border or an edge protector to keep the marbles from flying off. But you could create this like river feel to it. And this doesn't have to be the wavy piece, right? It could be any of the pieces. Have it. The turns even have caps on them. So you can make this river turn in different directions too if you want. Oops. Straight piece. So let's say we want to add some straight pieces to it. Just make sure it's capped. And what's interesting is like you can even have it so that like certain parts of this is not capped. So now you're racing, like there's a possibility now, you see, where a marble could possibly fall through this track and fall down onto the lower tracks. So you can make parts of this river uncapped too, and have this as a, like, of different, like, second level, you know, of marbles, some racing on the top, some racing at the bottom, depending upon how you want to do it. Like, just another fun way for you to use the track builder. Right? And add more layers to your track. Because it seems like a lot of people, when they just get the basic track builder, they just are like, okay, I'm going to build linear tracks. I'm not going to, like, do anything because, like, I'm limited, you know? And you're like, well, no, you're not limited. You just don't want to take the time to look to see what other ways you could use a track piece. And add more layers to your tracks, even with just a basic track builder. Yeah, and exactly. You could create so many interesting, like, races and tracks just by using, like, a couple pieces in different flipped or turned ways. There we go. Copy of that. We'll go on straightaway for a while. Whoops. Like, so I don't want to hear people being like, oh, well, like, there's an entry, like, this entry point of the track builder prevents me from building, like, a good track that's not just a click and drag. Like, no. No. Like, no. No. Look at the work that Raz has done. Look at what other people have done with just basic track pieces, using them in ways that add a little bit more dimension to a normal snap and click. Right? Let's add another straightaway to this. Give it a nice long straightaway. I gotta keep an eye on. I only got about 100 more pieces I can use, right? Say we want to add another wavy piece again, a wavy section. Like, this, that's what's great is, oh, Toast with the sub! What? Toast? Hi, Paul. Toast. Toast. What are you doing? What are you doing? Thank you so much for the sub, Toast. My #1 mod. There's always room for subtlety, I think, in this game, which gets just completely forgotten, right? And how, like, little bits of subtle changes. Did you see that layout? I still haven't watched it, but I saw she won the Grammy. That's exciting. What people don't often realize is like little subtle things that you can add to the track will change what happens on the race, right? And what am I talking about is the use of objects like obstacles will change. Like this is not like this pin going up and down is not going to kill anyone, right? This is just the default setting. You can always make it move up faster, so it has the ability to yeet someone. Like, oh, sorry, there it is. You lower the speed. Sorry, you lower the speed to make it move faster. So now it has the ability to yeet it, but you don't need to have it at that setting, right? You could still have it as slow moving, but just putting something as small as like a pin here. Maybe a pin there, you know, pin on the side. This like these little bits of obstacles in the way lead to more exciting like races. You know, any little bit of variation, however minute you feel it is, can like just add more texture and layers to your basic track. All right, you're like, well, it's just a pin. It doesn't do anything. You know what? I actually kind of don't even like the pin moving sometimes. Sometimes I don't even want it to move. Right? Sometimes I just want it to sit there on its own. And that way it'll create some different random things that will happen to it when a marble hits it. You know, and what's great is you could change it. Distance, thank you so much for the sub. What is going on? Why is everyone subbing right now? Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, maybe I don't like this pin variation. I could change it to one of the other ones. Right?
Chicago are yelling hype.
Yeah. Oh, whoops, wrong way. There we go. I could change it to like a different variation of the pin. And when a marble hits this, it'll react differently than if it was a round piece, just a little bumpy piece, whatever this piece is. Like these little subtle things that you could put on the course just to like change it up, make like a huge difference. You know, like one of the things that one of the things that we score you on, or you're scored on when you do the track builders tournaments, is like excitement to the race, right? That's like one of the criteria is that we look for is like, does the race itself, is it a real race, or is it just like whichever marble comes out of the start piece is going to be the marble that finishes first, right? A lot of the mistakes I think track builders make is they don't add enough variation to the race and things in the race that can help make the race an actual race. You want to be able to add layers of excitement where like there's a possibility someone who's in the back comes in and wins it at the end. Like those are the things that will take you from being a basic track builder who's just clicking and dragging pieces together to somebody who understands that marbles, like to an intermediate, and understand that when you build a track, you need to have more than just straightforward linear races. Put in little subtle obstacles like that, and I like, you don't understand how much more excitement that can add for a streamer, and that way they engage with your race and your tracks even more. So subtle little things to help mix it up a little, you know, just adding a pin here or there can do it. But yeah, I think I showed you guys what I was going to show you as far as different like cool little techniques you can use, and just think of different ways that you can use these track pieces. All right. You could still, for those of you who will question whether or not you could still make a globe or a sphere in the game with the basic track pieces, you could still do it. I'll even demonstrate it. So let's say for some reason I want to make a ball with the basic track pieces. All right. We'll use this. I'll even use this end piece as a cool anchor piece because it's flat. You can still make a ball. You have enough track pieces for it. Right? I believe you could still make a ball. It won't look as perfect, but I know you could still do it. Here, why don't we make it capped as well? Okay. So remember our technique that we use to make a sphere is we use grid snapping to turn it. Oh, actually, I don't think we could use this as an anchor piece because you can only make one end piece. Let's use, what should we use as an anchor piece? We'll just use a regular flat piece. The idea is you could still do the turn technique. Actually, let's do it like this. I think this will work. You could still use concentric circles to make spheres out of it. I guess we could do 10 to make it easier for us so we don't have to snap. So 1. Yeah, that works. Turn it. 1, 2. And you can slowly see our sphere is coming to. So like grid snapping allows you to make these concentric circles really easily as well. You can already see like the spheres coming together. If I just keep doing that over and over again, it'll complete my sphere for me. All right, you can still get that clear sphere effect. Obviously, if I don't want the glass to be colored, I'll need more pieces to do that with. I'll need to like turn it less of a big angle. But let's say I choose to put a color on my cap. We go to materials, glasses. Like you see how that almost covers the whole sphere already. But yeah, you can still make a sphere using basic track pieces. I've already made a quarter of one. But just by using that technique I showed you last time, which is you have a center track piece, you can make concentric circles and you can do like cool little sphere objects or whatever it is that you want to make. It's still possible with basic track pieces. You just have to understand that it won't look as perfect, and also like keep in mind the orientation of your track pieces. But still a technique that you can do in the basic track builder. I'm duplicating, turning a little, making a duplicate, turning a little, and just keep doing that over and over again. You'll complete your sphere. We're like almost halfway through. All right, and it actually makes a pretty cool design up here too. So got like half the sphere done already. But yeah. But yeah, I think I showed you all the things I wanted to show you as far as like different things, just different ways for you to make a track looking at making the basic track pieces, right? 2 ways for you to use the basic track builder in ways it wasn't intended. Like instead of just making a click and drag track piece, you know, you have 200 people who make basic track pieces. You have 200 track pieces you could still use. I see people maybe not even use 50 pieces. All right, like I see people click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, and then like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put an end to it. Okay. Like even for a streamer, like would you rather see just like a track piece like where it's normal and basic like this, or would you rather see something cool where it's like, wow, these are all basic track pieces and he created like this river effect and these like steps going down the river? That's so cool. Like Cydia must be beast in this. Yeah, So just trying to show you that you're not limited by the basic track pieces. Just gotta turn things on their head. Look at it from different angles, optimum angles. All right. You also use some boosts. So when you have your basic track builder, you also have the pins as opticals, and you can even put little boosts here too, here or there, to add some dynamic races in there. So yeah, that's it. Let's go over, yeah, that's it for our track building. Thank you guys for checking that out. We're going to go over some quick housekeeping things, and then Marble events of the week. Quick housekeeping thing. Daylight savings has occurred for a lot of us. Most of us in the world have daylight savings, or those of us who follow it. Those of us in the US certainly had ours. The one in EU is about to come up though. But for now, everyone in the US, what happens with daylight savings, guys, is that the server doesn't switch its, essentially consider the server not switching its clocks. You're the one who switched your clock, but the server stayed the same. The server reset stays the same time for itself, but it never changed its clock. So now it's no longer 9 a.m. 9 a.m. is no longer when your energy resets. It's now 10 a.m. due to daylight savings. All right. So that's not a 10 a.m. Eastern daylight savings time, and then 7 a.m. Pacific daylight savings time. So keep that in mind. Starting March 14th, which has already happened. That was yesterday. Now, for, I believe, EU, for Great Britain, UK, for the UK, starting March 28th is when they do their daylight savings. So when that happens, it'll be 3 p.m. BST, British daylight savings time. Keep that in mind. So your energy reset time has changed by an hour. It's now an hour later. But really, if you think about it, it's the server's time stayed exactly the same. He just never switched his clocks. If that makes sense. I don't know. I try not to think too much about time and daylight savings. It gives me a frightful headache. Marble events of the week. Record Hunter. These guys. Record Hunter every week, Monday, 2 p.m. Hosted by Bax and Shens. Break a record, get some coins is really that easy. I'm going to tell you, those guys are just up to shenanigans all day long. So it's just the two of them goofing off the whole time. It's a freaking riot. So make sure you're there. If you enjoy, just enjoying, if you just want to have fun, take it easy, not take anything seriously, see these two guys goof off, then you'll enjoy the Record Hunters, because yeah, they're just messing around the whole time. It's like a comedy duel. AV Marble Tournament every single Monday, 6 p.m. to 9. Play for a chance to win an emote. I think it's not a skin anymore, so don't look at that. But you do get a custom emote from AV for his weekly tournament. Marbles update. Oh, Marbles update. You're in it right now. Marbles Day update. You're in it right now. Every single Monday on stream, we go over some marble things. This week, we're doing track building. Next week, make sure you're not here, but you're actually, I think I'm just going to combine my Marbles update with Spoo, because I have been invited to be on Raw Talk with Spoo. Marbles Raw on Monday. So it's essentially going to be a Marbles update / Raw Talk. 2 shows coming together. So make sure you're there. We'll be doing it at Raw time. Not I do Marbles update in the evening on the Mondays. For those of you who don't know, close to, I would say, 8 Eastern is when I start. But Marble, I believe, Raw Talk starts at 10 a.m. But just keep in mind that we're going to be doing the show with Spoo next week. Warrior Wednesday, of course, every single Wednesday, 3 p.m. Sponsored event. Battle Royales hosted by Final Ross Battle. Play for a chance to win up to 1,500 pixel by pixel coins in the prize pool. So make sure you check that out. Sponsored event every single Wednesday. Thirsty for Taylor Thursday, every single week on this channel. On Thursday night, all Grand Prix winners win booze money sent to their PayPal account. Make sure you're here. Hosted by that guy, GJC327. It's me. And also, maybe Taylor. Maybe will come and drink with us after that amazing Grammy win. Vic, March 19th, I believe, is also it's a Friday. March 19th, Vic is gonna be celebrating her 1-year affiliate anniversary, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Ain't no party like a 1-year affiliate party, because a 1-year affiliate party don't stop. So yeah, my name Vic. Make sure you check it out. Win some money, subs, handmade stickers. Ooh. So yeah, let's help her celebrate her 1-year affiliate. Somebody else who's celebrating, also starting on the 19th, 1-year streamiversary. Desluck 13, 2-day event starting on March 19th at 7 p.m. And then the next goes on to the next day, March 20th at 11:30 p.m. 15-ish. He said 11:30 to 11:15-ish, I think. 11:30-ish. Whatever that means. So around 11:30. Depends on how long this man can go. Starting off with Ghostbuster Grind, Viewer's Choice games starting at 10:30, 2 a.m. Really easy record hunters. Weka hunters. This spelling's so weird. Viewer's Choice again at 8 noon. Really easy record hunters. Then Ghostbusters again at 6:30. And then 10 p.m. Very Odd Grand Prix. Winner of each GP will receive stickers, free wheel spins. So there'll be tons of things. Marbles, stickers, onesies, fiery beans, raffles, wheel spins. So make sure you're there to help celebrate with Desluck. Every Friday also at 3 p.m. with Final Ross Battle, Zombie Run. Prizes for whoever stays alive the longest. Make sure you check that out as well. I love this zombie. This is such a cute poster. Good job, Ross. Also Fridays, Pizza Tournament, hosted by yours truly. Every single Friday on this channel from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Play for a chance to win pizza. Whoever wins the tournament gets a spin on the pizza wheel. Sometimes you win things on top of the pizza, including cookies, popcorn, cheesecake, hot dogs / sausages. So make sure you're here for that. March 20th, Scotty Z also celebrating a 1-year anniversary. So many people celebrating streamiversaries. 1-year streamiversary. Saturday, March 20th, wheel spins throughout the day, chance to win cash or subs. And this is all approximate schedule, he's saying. So 10 a.m. to 12 noon, there's a Marbles on Stream break. Oh, Marbles on Stream. They're going to do from 10 a.m. to 2 noon. They're going to do Marbles on Stream. And then they're going to take a quick break. And then at 1 p.m. to 4 Tacoma full playthrough. And then another break. Cash tournament for $25 around 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then maybe some late night ASM and Marbles starting at 8 p.m. So make sure you're there to support Scotty Z. 1 year. Jeez, it's been 1 year already. I remember when Scotty started. Wow, time's flying. I remember Scotty, if you guys didn't know, Scotty did a lot of pachinko streaming when he first started. Like people were like wanting to see because Scotty was dominating the pachinko boards. So a lot of people watched Scotty play pachinko. Twisted Indie, Track Builder series. I believe we are now going into week 6 of the Track Builder series. Weekly Track Builder series. He gives you a prop every week. You follow it. Build some tracks, earn some points. Cash prizes awarded at the very end of, I believe, yeah, after 7 weeks, there'll be cash prizes awarded. Yeah, he gives you like a map and then a prompt, and then you kind of have to build your track around it. Twisted Showdown. Twisted Tilt Showdown every Saturday with Yusuf at Custom. Custom has been he's been having like work scheduling conflicts, so luckily Raz, me, some other people are going to be stepping up to help host until we can figure that out. And hopefully we could do another day where we can have even Custom and all of us together, because last week was a lot of fun with Tierra and Raz and Yusuf. So maybe one day we'll have the full crew together and do something fun. 5 of us competing, 6 of us. Maybe we'll drag in a 6th person who wants to tilt. Maybe Shenson will get in on it with us. 6 of us tilting together. Oh my god. 6 teams. I don't know if Shenson could be on the same team with Custom though. Doesn't seem very fair. We'll have to think about how these teams can be done equitably. Or it could be 2 teams of 3. That could work too. It could also be 2 teams of 3. That would be kind of interesting too. But yeah, who knows? But yeah, make sure you check it out every single Saturday, 3 p.m. It's always Yusuf and then another host. I think this week it's going to be me again. I have to talk to him and see what he wants to do. But I offered, so until custom schedule is changed, we're going to be rotating guests, I guess. Joey, this is new actually. I introduced it last week, but Joey Fine is doing a marbles tournament on March 27th from noon to midnight, and he's doing it to help raise charity for Extra Life and helps kids who are sick in hospitals and stuff like that. Gives them a chance to play video games and other games. So we all know, like, it's important, and actually how much your mental attitude is important to part of the healing process. It's never just about healing the body, right? It's always about healing both the mind, the spirit, and the body, all 3. So helping some kids play some games, I think, will lift their spirits, right? So make sure you support that. There's going to be more than one event. There's going to be one in June and September and November. For now, the first one is March 27th. It's a $200 marbles tournament. There's also a chance for you to win Nintendo Switch, a 43-inch 4K smart TV, and a robotic vacuum and more. So great cause. Make sure you support it. I've seen a lot of people raise money for Extra Life before, so they have a good reputation, especially with the Twitch community, because most of us come here for gaming, right? Most people are on Twitch for gaming reasons, so we could definitely this is like a charity I think we can all get behind. Marblefest, don't forget, starting March 27th. Marblefest, Saturday, March 27th. If you don't know what Marblefest is, it's our end of the season celebration in Marbles on Stream. It's essentially a 2-day continuous marathon of tournaments hosted by a bunch of different streamers back to back. Every single tournament, whoever is in the top 25 racers win the Marblefest skin. This one's very beautiful. Looks like something Shibuya Gaming would like. It's got that retro grid vibe to it. So, and then the top 3 will be winning pixel by pixel coins. First place will be winning 300, second place 200, third place 100 coins. So every single tournament, they'll be giving out coins for the top 3, and then Marblefest skins to the top 25. Before I get started, just as a side note, do not harass people for playing if they have already won a marble skin. This was something we talked about last season, and it was addressed. This season, I don't want to hear people doing that. I will tell, and I will notify people in the studio, and if something like that is happening, if you're bullying people about playing, if they already won a skin, please do not do that. We don't like that attitude. And if you continue to harass people, you will get reported, and they will ban you from playing the game. Okay? So, good sportsmanship. Let people play and then just enjoy the game. Do not harass them because they're playing and they've already won a skin. It's not necessary. This one is as good as the Summerfest. It looks really pretty. And I'm assuming the grooves, you guys can't see from this video or from this poster, but the grooves, they move. Like the grooves, the lights, they move along. They're dynamic. They light up, they glow, and they move. So it's very pretty. But yeah, do not harass people if they've already won a skin. Don't be like, oh, you already won a skin. Why are you still playing in the tournament? Play to play and to enjoy their subs. Like they just want to support all the other streamers who are in the Marblefest. So please don't harass people if they've already won a skin about why they're still playing in the tournament. All right, we play for our own reasons. You mind your business. Leave other people alone. All right. And like I said last time, we've discussed this in the Discord before and addressed it. So I just don't want to see people being harassed for playing a game and participating in Marblefest. Even if they already have a skin, it's okay. And actually, if you guys didn't know, in the future, there's going to be a way for you to collect on your duplicate skins. We're pretty sure that's something that's like coming down the line. So if you need a reason why someone has 2 of a skin, there it is right there. Is that in the future, there might be a chance to gift skins or trade skins or dust skins or whatever it is that we're going to find. But there's going to be something you can do with your duplicate skins in the future. But actually, I think I'm pretty sure they're only going to give you one Marblefest skin anyways. I don't believe Tierra is going to give you more than one. So keep that in mind too. Even if you win twice, you're still only going to get one, I think. I think that's the company policy. So either way, whether it's this competition or any other competition or tournament, like if somebody already has a skin, don't harass them for playing and trying to get a second win. They might be wanting to win coins. Who knows? Right? Anyways, spiel over. Starting from Saturday, March 27th, Pixel by Pixel Studios, 9 a.m. Eastern, we'll kick off Marblefest. He will send it on over to Tilt Master Extraordinaire, level 57, Dark Madden at 10 a.m. Fiona Riches at noon. I've been checking out Fiona as well. Awesome. Boojux, our favorite, our OG French streamer. Boojux. Every time I'm there, he's like, GJC! I'm like, oh my god. I love him. And then Jensen Rose. Been checking her out. Dave Ness, of course, famous for Zoom Shane. Don't forget, Dave should be hosting a Zoom Shame also on that Saturday. So he might actually combine Zoom Shame with his Marblefest. I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll see. But known for Zoom Shane. Z Carmella, of course. Been around forever. Sportscast Squad getting another one. Baxcast getting a second one. But Baxcast actually filled in for somebody who was missing last season. So I'm glad he's got this chance to really plan for something and show us what he can do, because consummate showman. Yeah. And then Enders, lead community manager at 2. So this is it goes into 10 a.m. and ends on that first day, but then it continues right away midnight, right? On March 28th on Sunday with Bax. So it's 2 days. Yeah, there's no break in between. Enders is at 2 a.m. Then Suni, aka Steffi. Suni, aka Steffi's been around forever too. I think as long as I have, if I remember correctly. El Chibato, Deathluck. El Chibato at 6 a.m. Sorry. Deathluck at 8 a.m. Blizzard Girl, 10 a.m. And then Spoo will end things at noon. I believe by the time it hits Spoo, the season is going to close. So I think Blizzard Girl doesn't need to worry about energy, which is what I told her. I believe as soon as it hits Spoo, they're going to take down the season. If you didn't know, after Spoo is done with his portion of the tournament, he will probably remain online and keep racing and giving skins away to individual winners of races. Usually he comes up with something else. So if you miss out on the skin in any of these tournaments, stick around with Spoo. He'll probably be giving away skins like all night long. Until he, goes off. The skin will also be available in Pachinko for you to win, I believe, if it's just like the previous season. So many chances to win the Marblefest skin. Finally, don't forget Yusuf's Trackmaker Melee 3. March 29th is the deadline, right before midnight. You must use these 3 pieces: the graph tunnel, the wishbone looking jump thing, and then the piece with all the pins that eat people. I don't know what to call that piece. The eating pin pieces. And the wishbone. This looks like a wishbone to me. And then this is the graph tunnel. We all know. This graph tunnel is one of the early things that... actually, probably the first thing we ever had to use to play with gravity. It used to just be... Before gravity pads, this was pretty much the only thing that we had that you could use to mess around with gravity. So the graph tunnel, we used to do some cool effects with it. Now you just use gravity pads. So I'm glad that this is part of the track builder to give us a new chance to make something different. Are tracks removed at the end of the season, or will the tracks will stay there until the new season launches, and then you have to re-upload them? Now, if you used track pieces that are from the track builder kit, you'll have to buy the track builder kit again. Yeah, if you use track pieces that are from the track builder's kit, you'll have to buy the track builder kit again. But if you use just basic pieces, then you don't need to buy the track builder kit to re-upload. So every single season, it'll stay there until the new season launches. Then everything is erased from the server, and you'll have to re-upload all your maps. But your maps are saved on your computer. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not like You save your maps on the computer. Don't be an idiot and not save your map on your computer and then upload it and forget to save. Like, make sure you have your maps saved on your computer. It'll stay on your computer forever. Is there a forever track builder price? No, there is not. The rationale behind that, and this is a little bit of a tangent, and I've explained this before, but the rationale behind that is that Pixel wants to keep adding things to the track builder, and it's a way for you to, like, essentially encourage him to continue adding things. So it's like, if you for some reason don't like what's new about this track builder this season, then you were not forced to buy it. It's like a subscription, so you can cancel anytime. You get one season subscription, and then when it's over, and actually it's prorated, so as the season goes on, it's cheaper and cheaper. By the time it's halfway through the season, it's only 100 pixel by pixel coins. So don't think of it as so much as buying the pieces as it is like a subscription to rent the pieces to use for a season. That's the way I see it. It's a subscription. Yeah, you do need to buy the track builder every single season if you use the pieces from the track builder that are like part of the bundle. But if you make a track like I was just showing with just basic track pieces, you won't need to buy a bundle every single season. Yeah, every single season something new gets added. This encourages the track builder to become innovative and come up with new ideas and add more things to it. And also, it's great because it's prorated. All right, and you also feel like there's something of value. If you don't feel like there's something of value or different this season, then you don't need to buy it. Keep an eye out. It might change in the future. This might not be the system forever. There's been talks that we're going to buy, essentially the whole track builder will be unlocked for free, and then we just buy upload slots. We'll be given like 2 for free, and then for every additional one you pay like an amount of coins, and then at the end of the season they'll delete all the tracks again. Or at the beginning of the new season, they'll delete, and then you have to re-upload and buy slots every season. So it's like, if you don't use the slots, you don't upload more than 5 pieces or 5 tracks, then you don't spend as much money as someone who uploads 25, right? I think it'll be interesting when it switches over to that. I think I don't really have anything else. I think those are all the... Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot. MSLA, Saturday. Yeah, March 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, hosted by Ender's World for the Badger MSLA race. Calling all Harry Potter fans, this is the race for you, especially all Hufflepuffs. This race will be 320 laps around the paperclip. And of course, the winner gets the 3D printed trophy and top 3 exclusive MSLA marble skin. So I'll make sure to put the poster right there in the video when we go to one. What's MSLA race? It's like MSLA is like a league, a marbles league. Think of like NASCAR for not marbles. That's like the best way I can explain it. It's like a marbles racing league. And it's like a special event that's hosted usually by Enders, but other people have hosted it. And we only play laps. Remember laps, Toast, where we just circled around over and over again? Now there's 2 versions of it. One is shaped like a paperclip. The other one's shaped like a boomerang. So we just do it's like a NASCAR for marbles. We just do like 300 laps on it, or 200 laps on it, or 100 laps on it, and for like one race, and see who wins. And there's like a bunch of marbles that show up. There's like 200 marbles showing up or more playing this. But yeah, think of it as NASCAR for marbles. I'm on a team. My team's pretty amazing. We're in 5th place. Yeah. 5th place. That's right. 5. All right. I think that's it for the episode. Thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate it.